Hi, it's another week and it's time to ask FUNMI. And it's one of those episodes when I've got somebody in the house with me, my guest bit, the bit where I get really excited because I'm an old soul and you know the story already. So, this week I've got Nigeria's fastest man in my living room and we're going to run through this. Seye
Hi.
Ogunlewe. Hi, Seye.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you.
I'm extremely over the moon to
It
be
is
here.
what, I find that all these top athletes tend to be like chilled.
Yeah, we're very, very laid back. I am extremely laid back. My coach always says I'm too laid back that I might fall over, so I'm just very calm, just very chilled. That's my but when I'm on the track, it's different.
Yeah, I see when you're on the track. Do you know, we were talking about it earlier, you didn't know this about me, did you know? Did you know I was a failed athlete?
You were mentioning that, but I was like, she has the frame. Like, I believe it, to be honest. I believe where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from, but not failed. Well, everybody used to run at one point in time.
What are you trying to say?
Trust, everyone used to run. If you ask, everyone used to run at one point in time.
Yeah, well, everybody thought I should have been an athlete. Primary school, secondary school, through to the university. Because they'll take one look at me and think, oh, you should be an athlete. It's like my singing. I can't sing. I can't do athletics. I haven't got the stamina.
Everyone sings as well. Everybody sings and everyone runs.
I do not sing. I cannot.
In the bathroom, everyone sings.
No. I cannot sing. People tell me, they pay me not to sing. I sing once a year on my birthday to torment all my friends. And I sing the most annoying song I can to torment them. Anyway, so I've got the question for this week here. And the question is, what do you think about society's obsession with healthy eating?
I don't think there's an obsession with that, to be honest. But it depends. Like, everybody has their own goal. Everybody has what they want. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, if you come to me and say, oh, Seye, like, I want to lose weight, I'm expecting you to have a good diet as well. It has to have all the components of a balanced diet, e.g. carbs, vitamins, and veg and everything. But sometimes you go out, have a steak and fries, that's it.
You're an athlete and you already know what healthy eating is.
Yeah, definitely.
But usually there are so many fad diets. So that, for example, now I think everybody's talking about paleo, or whatever it is.
What's that?
You're asking what's that. So they don't. Paleo is this kind of food where barely no carbohydrates or barely any carbohydrates. So they eat a lot of meat and a lot of vegetables and just a lot of not even fruits. It's very popular. And then, people drink their food they don't eat their food, they drink it.
Okay,
There's all kinds of things that people do.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I know, and then I hear them talk about ketonics. It's ketogenic. There's such a lot of them that people, why you, you're looking?
Because I've not heard any of these things, to be honest. I'm very new to what you're telling me.
But maybe because you're an athlete and you're a guy, two things, because you don't have any. Actually, it's not just women. I hear men talk about it too.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I feel most of the time like you could mix and match whatever you want to eat. Like, it's just left to you and what you're trying to get from what you're eating.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, I go to work in the morning and I sit down from 9 to 5 o'clock and I'm not going to gain weight. Like, that's not possible.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, like, you will gain weight if you're just sitting down on your table from 9 to 5 and be like, oh, I'm eating healthy, and you think you would not gain weight. Like, it doesn't happen like that. You need to do some sort of very, very good diet, then do some kind of exercise in between your work. Like in London here, you see the fact that people go to work and during their break time, they go to the gym. Mm-hmm. I've seen that a lot because I used to go to a gym in the city, and you have people who come during break time. So those kind of things, like, you will lose weight, but don't sit down in your workplace from 9 to 5 thinking, oh I will lose weight if I do ketonics or
whatever it is. There's always one thing or the other. I mean, what I'd say generally is that, I've been around long enough to have heard all kinds of diets. There's been the time they used to do food combination, the time they do fit farm, all sorts of things. What I would say, not being an expert, because I'm not an expert, is that what I've noticed from being around people who are slim and healthy is that they eat a just varied, natural diets. Yeah. So they eat food that's organic.
We must also look at it, like, most people don't really know their body.
Yeah.
You must know your body. like some people are just not destined to gain weight. They're just like that. Regardless of wherever they eat, they're not destined to gain weight. I'm that kind of person. If I drink ice cream from now till next year or eat cake, I'm not going to gain weight. There's some people who just, they don't need to do much and they gain weight completely. So I think people just need to understand their body first before they go into the diet. So you will know, like, some people put on weight very, very quickly.
Yeah, but
like some people don't at all. Like we could eat the same thing now from now to next week, and you put on more weight than me, and I don't put on any weight. So most people need to understand their body first before we start talking about the diet part. Because if you don't do that, there's no need in you talking about the diet, because you need to understand what your body requires in order to gain weight or lose weight.
Or
so
to stay a certain way. Anyway, we're going to leave the weight matter, because when you started talking about some people can eat and they don't gain weight, I could hear in my mind some friends of mine pointing in my direction. But I always say to them that, you know what, I gain belly. And when you know that I've been eating too much food is that you see my kwashoko belly. I call it kwashoko belly because the rest of the body was skinny and the stomach can be big.
It's fine.
You know, that sort of thing. However, what I want to talk to you about today is running. And there's this argument that running is the highest form of athleticism. That of all the sports, running is the elite sport, because it's just you and the wind and your body. Do you agree? And when you're talking running, 100 meters
I agree.
is the top dog of running.
Because this is why I feel other sports are more calmer, they're chilled. Like, I'm not going to put any of the team sports because I don't feel that counts. Because if I'm not good, I have
the defender,
that guy that might be good, and the striker guy that might be good. But so me, I'll just be in the team, and everyone will think, the team is playing well. But it will be rare for them to pick out, Seye is not playing well. But it is always a team effort. So I'll pick individual sports. I feel running is one of the toughest, especially track and field, because it is the only sport that you train for 8 months to run for 2 months. It's crazy. You start training in October all the way till about May before you start running. And it takes a lot of the mind plays a huge factor in running. Like, it is very, 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 let me use the word deep, because it's just you. It is just you. Like, regardless of whatever your coach, your psychologist, your physio, your teammates have told you, the ball is left to you at the end of the day, and you only have one chance. Just one.
I saw that in action once. So one of my old friends is Chioma Ajua.
Okay.
And in 1996,
Chioma Ajua,
the policewoman, the gold medalist. So in 1996, I went with her to Kenya to train after she won the Olympic gold medal. She was going to train for something. I think it was 97 maybe. And I used to think anybody can run until I went and saw her at work. And I would see her wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Without fail, she would go to the stadium and she would run a certain set. She would do a certain amount of exercise without fail, come back, sleep. She has to sleep, wake up, eat a certain meal, and then go back and repeat it. Clockwork every day.
There's a saying that I've heard a few people say, that people that do track and field are not normal.
I agree.
Because of the fact that it is a very, very routine exercise. Like, you do the same thing every day for a very, very long period of time, and you lose your mind in the process, because you're thinking about your goal and everything you need to do to make sure that goal is top performance. So, for instance, her waking up at 5, I wake up at 5 a.m. You take the same bus, you take the same train, you train in the same place. It is the same thing over and over. It's like you need to master that process. Hence why I said for me, I feel it's the hardest, because it's just one race.
What kills me is that sometimes all you are trying to do is shave away 2 seconds. 2 bloody seconds.
Milliseconds.
Or for milliseconds. You're trying to shave that down. And you're going to spend 8 months trying to do that.
You see what I told you it's deep. You thinking about if I explain that to someone that's not run before, you'd be like, are you serious? Do you need to train 8 months?
Why do runners do it?
It's a lot of determination. Like, they have guts. Like, we have guts. Like, it's because to be honest, if I'm not putting my track and field professional athlete mind on.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
If you're training for 8 months to shave off 0.04 milliseconds, just that for 8 months, sweat, tears, snow, sun, rain, some injuries, just to shave off 0.06 or whatever it is. It takes guts and it takes a lot of determination.
So what worries me is this. So there's this creature called Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's quite all right. You know, he's an incredible human being.
Yes.
You know, what he's achieved as a feat.
Yes.
It seems to me that nobody's going to break that record.
Definitely not. I don't think anyone is going to break that record because, and this is my opinion about the whole situation, I feel every sport has a freak. If you look at it, there's always a freak. There's always that person who's just exceptional. The person might not be doing as well as or train as hard as every other person, but there's always that freak. Like if we use golf, for instance, Tiger Woods, if we use tennis, if we use basketball, like for instance, the freak of noun is probably Steph Curry. Freak of den is probably Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like track and field, it is just Usain Bolt. And for the fact that people don't really look at it this way, he's 6'5". No other male sprinter in the world is that tall.
Because actually for sprints, it's better when you're smaller.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
That's what they say, but he just changed the odds. He's 6'5". He's a giant. He's tall, very, very tall. So his stride length, I don't care how quick you're going. One of his stride length like is equivalent to maybe 1.5 of yours.
Yeah.
So he's just like his odds are just on his favor. He's 6'5". So that's all you need to know. He's 6'5" and he knows how to use his range.
Right.
So that beats everyone.
So now with Usain Bolt out of the way, who are you competing with?
There are a few people who are in the block. There are a few of us coming through. There's Andre deGrassi from Canada. There's Trayvon Bromell from Europe. There's CJ Uja. There's Adam Jamili. There are a bunch of people who are coming up who are trying to. There's Johan Blake. I don't think Justin Gatlin is retired yet, but there's a few of us. There's a few of the next generation who are trying to be the best. But to be honest, I don't really see one person maintaining that dominance for as long as Usain has done it. I feel the sport has changed.
When you are doing that grueling, training of yours, in your mind, are you competing against the clock or a person?
It's yourself. It's yourself. Like if you've put in the work, if you've done everything you need to do, it's left to you to go and execute what you guys have spoken about, you and your coach and your team. So you can't be thinking about the clock. You can't be thinking about person B or C. You have to think about yourself and your own process. So that is what needs to be in your mind, your process. What did I do in training that looked good? What did I do in training that my coach said was good? Was it my start? Was it my maximum velocity? Was it the dry phase? Was it the end of the race? So you just need to go through what you've done in training. So it's your own process.
What is your process? Take me through a day when you are training.
You wake up in the morning, have breakfast.
What do you eat?
You have oats, a banana, just some fruits, water, and some eggs. Get on the bus.
All in one meal?
Yeah, so you wake up and people don't really know this. You eat fruits before you eat the meal.
Ah.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah,
people don't really know that.
They don't know that?
They don't know that.
What, is that digestion?
Yes. You eat the fruits before you eat the meal.
Don't eat them together?
No, you don't eat the meal, then the fruits.
But that's what they tell us to do. They say, eat your fruits and desserts.
No, because you eat the fruit before the meal. So you wake up, brush, have a glass of water, 1 glass of water, then you have a fruit. Then you eat the meal. And you're ready to go. That will last you for, depends, oats, eggs, bread, wheat bread, and you go to training. So when I get to training, we know what we're doing that day. It depends on the time of the year. So if it's winter, it's those kind of gruesome, hard work. But my process in a race will be for bang, like on the gun, maintaining that low trajectory like a plane.
Yeah, just take off.
Yeah, just go.
It's beautiful to watch.
It is very, very good to watch. It is very, very, like the people that know how to do it well, it is like, wow, that looks, it's just like a plane. A plane doesn't just get up and go. It just, do you know, you like if you stay beside the airport, you'd be like, wow, that plane just gradually, that is how it is.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about the dry phase. Think about the maximum velocity, which is the end part of the race. So you can't think of what another person is doing. Some people have very, very good starts. They'll always get out in front of you. You can't think about that. You can't react to them. You have to think about what you're meant to do. They'll always come back to you. So if person B, for instance, is beside me and he gets out, boom, set, gets out in front, and I react to him,
then you won't be able to run at your own
amount. So it's your own process.
So even in that, because I watch it, I will tell you this. Yeah. You know, I was a sports journalist in my other life. I'll tell you about that too. You know, one of the reasons why I was fascinated by sports, particularly track and field, is I love to watch the human body at its peak, to just see how much you can make the human body do and see it perform at that level. It gives me incredible amount of joy. That's why I've studied I know the different body types, ideal body types for each one, and I know the ones, and the runners in particular, I love watching the different, but particularly the sprints and the different styles, the people who go first, the people who are slower, and then they just... You know, it's fascinating, but I never really looked at it as, you know, everybody has their own process. So in that moment when the gun goes, where's your head?
Your head is thinking about your own process. Like it happens really, really quick. That's why you train. You train your mind for those kind of things. So it happens really quick, set, boom. And before you know it, the race is over. So you have to think about what you're meant to be doing. It's very, very difficult. It's easy for me to say now, but it is very, very difficult. Once you get that, you'll be fine.
Right.
You have to think about what you are doing, not what person B, C, A is about to do, or think, that guy's a very, very good starter. He will get out in front of me. But you just need to think about what I need to do. What have I done in training? What did I look like in training? So set, go. So you visualize it a lot. So people don't really notice. People just think, you just run from A to B. No, there's a lot in your mind. There's a lot thinking, okay, set, boom, I do the dry phase, acceleration, come up and go. So sometimes people find different words for it, different cues, as they say. So it could be B for bang, bang. So it's B for bang, arms, aggression. So you could be saying that to yourself, B for bang, arms, aggression, stay low. When you get up, bang again. So it's a lot of the mind. The mind plays the major factor in it. Oh.
I see that now. Let's talk about money.
Yeah.
So, to me, as I've said, I think that running is the highest form of athleticism. Mm-hmm. But runners are not paid as well as basketball players, for example, or football players.
Definitely not.
And these are team sports.
Yes.
Not so superior.
Yeah.
What do you think has happened with track and field? Why is the money not as big as team sports, for example? I mean, the money is good.
Yeah, there are different factors. One is the fact that the drugs come into it as well.
Yeah.
So sponsors are running away from that, because if I invest my money into something and the best people in that sport are getting caught for drugs, it is making my own company or my own organization look bad. The other sports are not really too based on drugs like that. Football, how many people do you hear getting caught for drugs? Basketball, rare. But as we spoke about earlier, the way the body works, those guys think they need drugs in order for your body to perform at its maximum regularly, because the central nervous system that you use for 100 meters is harder than you playing 90 minutes of a football match, because you use like everything you have, all the power you have at one burst, and that's hard. And so people feel that they need to use drugs. Secondly, people have not embraced it as much as they have for football, basketball, and also track and field is not a professional sport. So until then, the money will never come in. It's not.
What do you mean it's not professional?
What I mean by professional sport is you get paid by a week. A club signs you, and they're paying you like the way they pay a footballer, the way they pay a basketball player. So it's rare to see that club will sign you and they pay you £1,000 a week.
Right.
So I think there needs to be a little change in the perspective of track and field. Like if the IAF can come in and say, okay, there needs to be clubs.
I think that drugs is a big deal.
It is.
Because I loved track and field very young. You know, so I was watching from Olympics of the 80s, you know, when I was a little girl. And so I used to follow it. I know that I lost interest too. I think it was around the 90s to the early 20s when the drug problem became so big. Yeah. I remember when it happened with Marion Jones. I just lost my heart. It broke my heart. You know, I didn't know what to think anymore. So, however, the big debate, that is the big debate in track and field. Mm-hmm. Should they just let people use drugs? So that if everybody's doing it, because it's a difficult one, isn't it?
It's a difficult one. Some people don't want to use drugs because of their health in the long run. You know, there's life after sports. I don't want to look like I'm 100 when I'm just 30 years old.
Yeah. You want to still live the baby boy life, you know what I mean? It's a Nigerian man.
So but as I said, like if you're top 20 in the world, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good. So everybody's fighting for that spot.
How much drugs is there really? Is it overestimated?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Does it hurt? So
it does.
Do the athletes, for example, know who might be using drugs?
You can tell. You can tell. It's possible for you to tell. And there's nothing you can do because of the passion you have for it. That's why I said track and field guys, they're deep.
Yeah. So, for example, you see somebody running against you and you know they've only won because they're using drugs, but there's nothing you can do unless that person is caught.
Because training takes a lot out of you, but these guys, if you take drugs, it won't take too much out of you. You'll be able to recover and bounce back. Yeah. So what my body can do, your body cannot do. Yeah. So I can train in the morning, I can train in the afternoon, I can come back tomorrow and do it. I could keep doing it all week, but I might train today, and the next time my body will be able to do that kind of performance might be 4 days time. So you've gained 4 days on me. Right. So when it's time to perform, who's ahead? Definitely you're ahead. Right. So it's hard, it is painful to watch, but as I said, we keep going. Yeah. There's just that voice telling your head, just keep going.
How did you know that this was what you wanted to do? I mean, you're a Nigerian man.
Yep.
Nice family. Yep. They wanted to go. You studied law, didn't you?
I studied law. You studied
law. My Nigerian mother's head just came in like, lawyer now. You know, I mean, it was like law, athletics, law.
It doesn't go. Yeah.
It doesn't go. But
it's a story to tell. Like I schooled in Atlantico Pokaekpe. For those who know me, they know I went to that school, private school. I was just a normal private guy, 25 in the class.
I know that type. I know the kind of expectations the parents are. Nice middle class Nigerian family.
Just nice,
you know. Send you to better school.
Yeah.
You then go abroad, you go and do law. You come back, you come and do work. You earn money, get married.
Just that's perfect life.
That's the deal.
And my dad is a politician as well.
Wait, you are the Ogulewe's son.
Yeah.
Why did it not click before now? You are his son.
Yes.
Okay. That makes things even more interesting.
So my dad is a politician, and like back in it, like when I was younger, I look up to your father because my dad was a senator, was a minister, and you look up to him because
I'm looking at you strange all of a sudden.
Those are the kind of things you want to do because you're like, okay, my dad does it. I see him as, because during my youth, my house is a political house, UNPC.
Do not tell me about your father.
Do you get me? So I grew up in that, and I was just in love with Manchester United. I am still obsessed with Manchester United. If you follow me on Twitter, I don't tweet about any other thing apart from Manchester United because it gets my head off track. And I went to school, and I just realized that I was good in sports. I was just phenomenal. I used to play football, I used to play basketball, I could play every sport. And I was captain of my school team as well, football. And 2007, we went to this race. I was in my school running team. It was just crazy. We just used to run. Everybody used to run. As I said before, everyone used to run. But I was just fast. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. Because none of my brothers are fast. None of my brothers play football. My brother's a lawyer. My other brother's an engineer. My sister's a doctor. So I don't know where it came from. I just feel I'm blessed by God. And in 2007, I went for this race in ISL. And I won. And there was this woman that came up to me. Her name is Mrs. Gloria Bajimi. She said, this boy, you're fast though. You won that 200-meter race from lane 1. Wow. I didn't really, my mind was not there. I was like, okay, no problem. And she said, okay, we'll put you in the team to go and represent Nigeria in France at the World Secondary School Games. I was like, okay, cool. 2007, we went to France. I won as well. And she was like, this guy, you're good. So what? I just thought my mind was in football. I thought I was going to play. No, honestly, I thought I was going to play football, like professionally, like at that level. And I moved to Ireland. I went to school in Ireland, and I went to Irish schools. 2009, the 100 meters. Next year as well, I went to Irish schools again, 100, 200. And when I used to train, I used to get parents that used to come to me and tell me, you know, you're really good. And I used to be like, I'm okay, but like, no one has ever told me that before. Do you get what I mean? When I was in school, no parents ever came to me and said, you're good. Like, I think you should take this seriously.
Yeah.
So there was a time I was training. I did not think I was going to be a professional athlete or anything. I was just going. Like, there was that voice just telling me, go. Just keep going. Just keep going. And I'll be waiting for the bus at night, trying to go back to school after training. And this guy came up to me, this parent, I'll never forget. I was like, you know, you could do this professionally. I was like, oh, one of them parents again. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, you can. I was like, okay, what do I need to do? He's like, yeah, find a good coach and start training. I was like, okay, cool. So from the Irish schools, I ran 21:50 for the 200, and I qualified for the World Juniors. I didn't know.
Just like that?
Just like that. Just one of them random southern races. And there was this guy who I used to work with who just used to do some gym work for me. And he said, Ade, you qualified for the World Juniors. I was like, what is that? It's like the World Junior Championships. Like, people really train for this. I was like, really? They're like, yeah, you qualified for the World Juniors in 200. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. But my parents didn't really understand what was going on at this time. Like, they just thought he's in school in Ireland, and yeah, he's there. So I said, okay. I didn't go for the World Juniors, unfortunately, because I could not decide who to run for, Nigeria or Ireland. So when I decided to run for Nigeria, it was too late for me to go, which is a bit sad. And I moved to England and I just started training. I just said, okay, it's time to give this a try. My parents did not still understand, like, yo, we really don't say go to school. But I did not allow that to stop my school. I was going to prove a point, because my goal right now is to always say to parents, Nigerian parents, that you could do the two. I have a law and politics degree. I have a master's in oil and gas. 2008, I was watching this race, Usain Bolt, with my friend, Deji Daranijo, I'll never forget. And he said, Shay, do you think you can make the next Olympics? I was like, yeah, I think so. I didn't know to make the Olympics. I didn't know you had to run the standard. I didn't know you had to train. I was like, yeah, I can make it. And I used to say this thing, Vision 2012, Vision 2012. Everybody knew me as that guy. On Facebook, I used to put Vision 2012. I put a picture of myself. I put Vision 2012. And I was putting Vision 2012, Vision 2012. So when it got to 2011, and it was 1 year to the Olympics, I said, you need to make the Olympics, so do whatever. So I told my coach, who was Prince Duai at that time, I'm like, yo, I need to make the Olympic Games. And the guy looked at me and was like, what? You just started running last 2 years. What do you mean Olympic Games? I was like, yo, I need to make the Olympic. I don't care what you're saying. I'm going to make the Olympic Games. The guy was like, okay. If you think so. So I started training, started taking it serious. At that time, I was training 3 days a week. I thought I was taking it serious. I went to Nigerian trials in 2011, first year. I didn't make the final. I got injured. I crashed in the semi-final. But I ran a personal best, pulling my hamstring 40 meters down the line. I was like, then I told the Nigerians, I was like, I went up to them, I think I ran 10:75 or something like that. And I went up to them and said, guys, invest in me, I'm the next big thing. And they looked at me like,
is it drunk?
Who is this guy? I was 18 years, 19 years old. I was like, who is this boy? 10:75, you're telling us to invest in you. I was like, I'm the next deal. I was genuinely serious. I told them, invest in me, I'm coming. They didn't take me seriously because they just thought, to be honest, if you come and meet me and tell me that, I won't take it seriously as well. Because, yeah, I'll be like, who are you as in? But I just told them, I used to remind them as well. Remember when I told you that I was the next thing? So I just told them I'm the next guy. You guys should invest in me. I'm that guy. But nobody, they just said, Nigeria, we don't have time for you. Let's focus on the guys that are there now. So I said, okay, 2012. And I must always say this as well. I'm just grateful to God that I have the parents and I have that base. Because not everyone in Nigeria has that family to support their dream. Because I'm sure there are like hundreds of people like me who have their goal, but they don't have that parental guidance to give them the opportunity that I had. Because I came to London, I got my pocket money. My pocket money was what I used to go to training. It was what I used to eat. You know, not everybody has that. So I just maximized what I had to get what I have now. So during that time, if not for my parents and the exposure they've given me to come down here to study, I don't think I'll be where I am right now. Because if I was in Nigeria or schooled in Nigeria, I'll probably have just lost my dream. Like, hey, but that's what I said. That's what I told you. And if you look at it, there was one person in your school that was exceptional at something.
You know, Shay, I know this. In fact, the bit you've come to of this story is really powerful because, as I said to you, I had my early career. I did a lot of sports journalism, traveled around the world, covered Olympic Games, you know, World Athletics Championships. I've also covered the World Cups. And one of the things I would say to you, I was listening to you, I was saying to myself, oh my God, what if we had had the facilities from at school level and somebody had discovered you? Because one thing people don't know about the Jamaicans is that track and field is a national sport in Jamaica, and they have really good sports clubs, you know, running clubs. You know, so aside from people who are talented, there's also a lot of support and training. That's why they turn up. It's a small island, but they have really good runners. And I'm thinking in my mind that had you got the kind of support you needed to from like age 14.
I'll be the best one. I'll be one of the best in the world. Definitely.
You know that for sure.
I'll be one of the best in the world. If I know what I know now, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I'll be one of the best in the world. 150%.
And so I join you in saying, if we had the facilities, that country, Nigeria, is so big and so blessed that there would be runners.
There will be not only runners. As I said, if we put your mind back, and for the people watching this as well, if you put your mind back to when you were in school, there was someone that was exceptional at every single thing. If it's math, if it's art, if it's playing a drum, an instrument, if it's sports, if it's folk, there was somebody that, if you think about it, you'll be like, call a random name. You think about it, that guy was extremely good at that. Don't forget, I was in a private school, only 500 in my school. So if I could take my career to this level now, there are tons of people in different schools who, and as I said before, the parental aspect comes inside as well. And my goal is to be able to go back to Nigeria and give these talks to schools and parents and say, let your child do what he wants to do. Not everybody wants to be a lawyer, not everybody wants to be a doctor. But I feel kids are just under, like, that mentality of, you know, when you're growing up, is, what do you want to be? A doctor. Hey, what do you want to be? A lawyer. Hey, they will, like, I can picture it in my head how they instill that in my mind. But nobody says, what do you want to be? Or let my child grow.
Another story I'll tell you is this. 2004 in Athens, I was front row. You know where all the big cameras are in front? I was right behind them. I was right there in Athens when Francis Obikwelu, running for Portugal, won the second gold, won the silver gold medal. I sat there and I couldn't celebrate. I mean, I celebrated him, but I couldn't celebrate. That generation of runners, I knew them quite well. Sunday Bada, the late Sunday Bada, the great Mario Nyali, the great Falilat Ogukoya. I knew all of them. I mean, growing up, Choma, Junwa, all of them. Ezra brothers. All of them, the Ezra brothers. So I was like, sat down there and I saw him run and win for Portugal. It also happened in Sydney. I was at the Sydney Olympics. I can't remember the name of the, I think it was a weightlifter now who was running for Canada. And after he won, he put the Canadian flag around himself, knelt down and was crying for joy. And you could see him, he was grateful to the country that had given him that opportunity. So I've seen people take that decision not to run for Nigeria, not because they didn't love Nigeria, but because it made sense to run where they will have the opportunities and facilities. Why did you choose Nigeria?
That's a very tough question that I get asked regularly. As I said before, I'm just lucky and grateful to God that I have a family who can support me, you know. And most of these people go to these countries for financial reasons, facilities and all that. But as I said, like at the time, my family was able to send me here to school, so I was able to get those facilities. And even if I was about to run for Ireland, my dad used to tell me, Seye. Also, my dad was a politician as well, so he used to tell me, I want you to run for Nigeria because it won't sound good on my name. Like,
it would have been tough to explain that.
Do you get what I mean? It won't sound good on my name saying I'm a senator in the country and your son runs for Gambia or Ireland. It won't sound good. Hence why I said I want to run for Nigeria. Also, the story I want to tell to the Nigerian people, I don't think if I run for another country, I can go back to school in Nigeria and say, I went to school in Nigeria, but I run for Ireland. It doesn't make sense. The story doesn't.
So cohesive.
It doesn't go. So my own. Even if I don't become one of the best in the world, I just want to inspire the next generation. I just want.
You are going to become. You are already one of the best in the world.
If I'm telling you, like, if my career doesn't go to that next level, I just want my story to be told. I want to inspire people. Not to only do sports, to do anything they want to do, anything you put your mind into, to just go and get it. Don't allow anyone tell you can't do it.
Yeah.
And you have to be realistic as well, because some of us don't set realistic goals. You just think, oh yeah, I could be the best at what I do, but you don't really do what the best do though.
Because some other thing that happens is interesting when you say that is that what you are saying now is to follow your own wiring.
Yeah.
Because some other people, all of a sudden, because it seems like rappers are doing well, then everybody wants to be a rapper. However, those who are the best are the ones who are wired to do that. That's what you're saying. Just to encourage people to follow their own.
Just follow your own dream.
So they will say it's their dream.
No, but you cannot say that though. You're deceiving yourself. Do you get what I mean? You cannot just wake up one morning and say I can sing.
Yeah.
Like just have been a little sauce to your singing.
Inside
you will know. And that thing will be pushing you towards that dream. There's some people that are lucky, but I don't want to be lucky.
Yeah.
I want to be known as that guy. Like if you look at me and I'm like, Seye used to run in school. Fantastic story. I don't want to say, or let's say now for instance, I just became I used to act. People like, act. That guy didn't know he used to act now. What was going on now? But
I mean, you can get a cameo.
For instance.
Because you are now.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? If what I'm doing now is getting me that, fine. But don't start doing things that you were not.
Wake up tomorrow and say you must be,
So I'm just saying, people, that's why I said, if you think about it in school, there was somebody that was good at something. But those guys just end their dream. As I said, the parents as well comes into it.
I want to go back to the moment you told your father that this is what you were going to do, regardless of your law degree and your oil and gas masters and all of that.
I didn't tell him. So it was 2013, I came second in Nigerian trials. And I was reading the newspaper. Well, I came second, I came home. I was like, Daddy, I came second. He was like, okay. Then the next day in the newspaper, he read, Seye Ogulewe came second at the Nigerian trials. He called me, Seye boy. So yes, sir, because his name is Seye as well. I was like, he came second at the Nigerian trials. I was like, yeah. He was like, wow. I said, Nigeria, this is all Nigeria. I said, yes. He was like, wow. He said, anything you want from today, I'll support you. I was like, thank you very much, sir. I was like, okay. Then he started calling me, I'll be trained today. This is the man that is now giving me, say, hey, you need to expand your strides. You're running like old school now. I was like, you need to change your stride. You tell me, now I can do anything I want. If I want to go and train in space, Seye, Malo, be going. Because he knows that I fought for this. I'm just trying to create my own name, I'm just trying to lead my own journey. And
do you think there's too much pressure on athletes?
Yeah.
to be role model, to be a certain way, to be, because also there's a lot of money involved. Yeah. So I mean, for example, when they ask you to interview people, like especially, generally athletes at a certain level, you just don't get anything out of them because they're so careful. They have been so careful. You know, so do you feel any of that pressure already? And you already mentioned that you want to be a role model, you want to do these things. How are you going to retain Seye?
Normal person.
The everyday person as against the role model?
It's a bit difficult. Like, as I said, I've just kept the same mindset I've always had. I don't go out too much. You won't see me in the club, on the table. Not that you can't do it, but it's just not a thing that you could merge my name with.
You don't go around with
Nah, you don't see me
video vixens?
No, you don't see me doing those kind of things. Like, it is rare. I'm not saying I can't do it. It's just rare. Like, if someone told you, if you told my friend and said, I saw Seye pouring a bottle of champagne on his head in the club, you'd be like, are you sure? Seye? He's like, yeah. But even if I did it, you won't see me doing it next week. You won't see me doing it next month. Like, it will be rare, to be out of, and it's kind of thing like I've already set up my mind for this kind of life. Do you get me? I put my mind to say, okay, you want to be a professional, there are things that come with that you need to keep doing. And especially if you want to tell this your story that you're saying you want to tell everybody. There's some things you need to do that needs to mirror that lifestyle. Yeah. So I'm just going along with nothing bad has happened yet. I've not done anything crazy yet. So I'm hoping and praying to God as well that I maintain that decorum.
I think you're going to be okay. I mean, if you're as a 16, 17-year-old boy, trudging through the snow to go and train because something in your voice, in your mind was telling you.
That voice was whispering.
I think you're going to be okay. You know, I see you're wearing the Temple hat. I mean, this I'm going to say publicly now because it's been annoying me for a long time. So they don't give me a Temple hat, cap, whatever you want to call it, because I've got this big hair. This big hair that God gave me.
They don't understand. Maybe
so they don't. So every time I'm like, where's my Temple hat? I think, you know, I mean, you're under Temple management.
Yes.
Temple is the first such company out of Nigeria because they're trying to do something,
you
know, just
something different.
Yeah.
Like, and I must also say thank you to Temple because it's obvious that people are trying to understand the dream of different other people, you know, and trying to put it in the right path. So we need more of this kind of people in Nigeria, you know, just to put, like, if those kids are coming from school realize, okay, if I stay in Nigeria, start training in Nigeria, there's a management company. You need to put everything together and think about broad future. Because these kids, if they go down, they're going to run for other places. Yeah. And they're not even wasting time. They're taking them as in one time. Once they see you, your name.
You're good. They take you
fast. And it's very attractive. Like, it is. Trust me, it attracts because they give you everything you want. As a 16-year-old, imagine you having a Nike sponsor, getting £1,000 a month. Game physio, you don't need to do anything. As a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, like, if
your mind... Do you think we can do that in Nigeria? Yes. Do you think we can get to a stage where we have the facilities in the country, we have the grants, we have the allowances, we identify the players?
You can do it. It just takes the right mind. And if someone that's not done it before is there, they will understand what it takes to be elite. That's my own perspective.
Do you see yourself doing it in the future, or maybe after
150%. Not even. I don't even want to wait too long, because I don't want everybody to go. I don't want to wait too long. Maybe if I'm done after the next Olympics, I'm going straight in. It's going to be hard, but it needs to happen fast, because everyone I see now, like for instance in Ireland, I was on Twitter the other day. When I tried to run for Ireland, there was no Nigerian team. Now I'm like, what's going on here? All the under 17s, under 20s.
Nigeria.
Ghana. I'm like, what's going on? Everybody's going. Everybody's gone. So I'm thinking of, okay, maybe when I'm 35, straight in. I think they've changed everything now. So
you guys can run now.
I can go now.
You can run for the office. You can be president of Nigeria.
I just feel in my generation, my friend is going to be president. I don't know why I have that feeling that I will know the president of Nigeria. And our generation right now is, like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that our parents send us to school here. It's a good thing because we're very sharp. Like, you can't play with us. Our mind is screwed on, and we know what is sensible and what is mediocre. So
Well, I can only wish you all the best. I mean,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
sitting down here, I'm just, really happy to hear the stories.
Thank you very much.
I know that maybe if there had been facilities, maybe I wouldn't have been a failed athlete, but I very much doubt that, really. It wasn't what I wanted to do. What I'm doing is what I wanted to do.
See, that voice was telling me.
That voice too.
That voice.
That voice was talking to. So, Shay, you get a chance to ask me the one question.
Do you see yourself going back to Nigeria to modify that journalism, or because you were that face of, I remember every day NTA morning,
Yes.
morning show. I remember. So do you see yourself going back there to like try and make that boom again? Because, for instance, I always say this: why is there a difference when I watch BBC News to when I watch? I'm not NTA News. I don't have anything against NTA News, but I've tried it a few times. I've said, okay, maybe my mind is just in a different zone, because my brother always tells me, you'll be staying here for too long. You need to come back home because this way you think is crazy. But I'm like NTA News now, see Sky News.
Yeah.
If I even change the channel to the channel, I'm like the news doesn't want. I don't want to. I watch Sky News once sometimes just because it looks nice, just because it's very, very interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just looks engaging. Like, how many kids in Nigeria watch NTA News?
Yeah.
Rare. Under 20. Nobody wants to watch NTA News. For what reason?
Yeah.
So, do you see yourself going back?
I mean, I'm not away in the first instance.
Okay.
In that regard, and you can't really go back to what you were. I've grown beyond that level. It's like running at a certain pace.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go back to NTA to do anything like that. What I would say though is that, one of the things I'd like to do is to gift Nigeria the ability to see ourselves as fully rounded humans through the media. So yes, I am interested in that regard, in maybe building the platform where we can actually see. I've said it before, instead of we're either doing the shiny line thing or we're doing the yepa thing, where we can actually be normal, just be human, and we can have our own stories told well, whether it's news, drama, documentaries, all of that.
Yeah.
For NTA, I used to use this analogy because I consciously was on NTA. I wasn't employed by NTA, but I put my own show on NTA because one, that was where you will see the largest majority of the people. So I wanted to be seen by the largest majority of the people. And I also I always found this a little worrying when people talk about Nigeria and they will say, oh, look at what these people are doing. These people are crazy. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I use it as an analogy. If you came into this space today and it's in a mess, if I brought you into my space, the natural thing is to say, gosh, what has happened to my house? Okay, so let's go. What are we going to do now? To fix it. Instead of saying, look at this stupid house. But it's my house.
Yeah.
So that's been but I think that Nigerians are fascinated with self-flagellating. All we want to do is, look at Tito. Ooh. I always just want to ask the question, so what are we going to do? And that's what I am waiting to find, a generation of people who really want to do what's necessary. Because the other thing is they say, okay, just go and do it. When I know that all of it is interwoven.
Yeah.
So you can't take one part without the other. So if, for example, they say, okay, FUNMI, go and run NTA. I'm happy to run NTA, but I know that running NTA is not just NTA, a whole other thing, a lot of other things, including just even the principles that hold it, has to change.
Definitely.
That sort of thing. So that's why I'm interested in even what is the reforms that are happening in the National Assembly. Yeah. How it's happening is a different conversation, but the reforms that need to happen, the kind of autonomy that has to be given to an organization like that, all of that, so that it can run effectively. When I watch NTA and I'm unhappy about what I see, I watch it with pain in my heart. I don't watch BBC and all of those because I understand news very well. Yeah. So even though it's shiny, I watch it. I watch the BBC, I watch Sky, I want to know where the world is going. But you see, I don't feel a connection to it because oftentimes the perspective and the narrative is not my narrative. It can be the same news, but the way it's looked at, and that's how it has to be. Each part of the world will consider its own narrative first. So until and unless we start to put our own narrative forward and be sure what that should be, we are not even in the game. And so I'm interested in that. One of my biggest desires is to gift that to Nigeria.
Okay.
So whether it's to run NTA, and once again, it's not just about running NTA, it's about also changing the statutes under which it operates, and or even just starting something new. To find the people, and it's not for lack of trying, I'm still on it, to find the people who would do it, because we do also have that challenge where people will clearly know who can do something, but they will give it to their friends. And their friends will do a shoddy job, and we continue the same circle. So all I would say is that it's always been, I don't want to hear stories. I'm not interested in self-flagellating. I always say to people that I want to see the people who want to tear pants. And what I mean by that, those who are like, excuse me, what are we going to do and how are we going to, okay, you're going to do, you do this, you do this, let's do this. The rest of the matter, once again, is Turanchi. And I am interested in Turanchi.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
You know, so
I hope everything comes together.
Maybe when you are president, you remember the anti-FUNMI.
Definitely.
Please, can you do this for us?
Definitely.
And I'm like, oh yes, of course.
Definitely.
Let's do it.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, my darling.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right. So that's the show. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. Seye Ogunlewe. Keep an eye on this man, not just in athletics, but in many other spheres of life. Well, keep an eye on yourself. I'm keeping an eye on myself. Make sure you keep an eye out for the show, as I'll see you next week. Bye now.